rise up for our SRC President, His Excellency, Master Kelvin Sir, as he gets to the podium for his address.
Thank you very much. You may resume your seats. Right Honorable Benjamin Kisisak Sasu, Speaker of the 10th Parliamentary Council, the Dean of Students, distinguished guests, acknowledge the presence of former SRC President and former Speaker of Parliament, parliamentarians, SRC executives, media, students listening from the halls and colleges, ladies and gentlemen. I bring you warm greetings from the KNUST-TEK SRC. I know this is a very critical point in our lives as students of KNUST, where there has been a very tremendous change in the affairs of the students' politics and governance. On the 22nd of October, the unfortunate happened as the incident led to a one-month closure of the university. This led to a lot of unstable conditions for students, parents, workers, lecturers, and a host of people. It is our hope and prayer that the incident will never happen again. And just as we did at today's SEC service, we prayed fervently for the university that never again will KNUST be faced such a situation, because we have all learned our lessons critically, both members of management, student leaders, and students themselves, and even the general populace of the nation. A lot of credit should be given to university management for their open doors to our student leaders, especially right after the incident. Issues are being looked into, our challenges are being addressed, and life has returned to normal. On the issue of centralization of accounts, the window has been opened for Parliament to decide on the way they want the policy to run. And Parliament is almost finalizing their request as to how they want the issue to be tackled and to be implemented as it will be submitted. The hall and college weeks have all been reversed, and plans are being made for next semester as we celebrate our SRC week and our various week celebrations. The reconciliation process is going on very smoothly. We give a lot of credit to the Dean of Students, Professor Gaiba, his Vice Dean, members of management, the Vice Chancellor, the Pro-Vice Chancellor and Registrar, and all staff from the various offices of KNUST. We've had a very warm relationship with them since we resumed campus, and that has facilitated our working for student interest and ensuring that every student's grievances is tackled very effectively. Periodic engagements have also been started, and just this Thursday, we are privileged to have a prolonged engagement with the Dean of Students, together with the SRC, as well as this August House. Now, the platform was used to engage the students to let us know what exactly the management is planning with a way forward for our issues, and also as an opportunity for us to submit to management from time to time what the issues on the ground are, so that management can make plans to work towards them, to avoid students complaining about issues not being addressed the way they want them to. Without appreciating certain stakeholders, we wouldn't be in the right standing. Our biggest gratitude goes to the Almighty God for how far He has brought us, especially. Most demonstrations, especially the last two that happened in KNUST, were known to have kept students at home for 9 months, and some even beyond. I'm sure we're all worried about how long we would have stayed at home. Some started calculating their years of completion of school and how it will affect their master's programs. Some students are scheduled to go to Dubai and even other countries throughout this Christmas to enjoy. But rather unfortunate, we'll have to be studying for exams even on 25th December. just as on 31st night, it will be expected of us all to be jumping. Of course, we'll do that. But the next day, we shall still be going back to our books, because we all want to pass our exams. Just as the UTAC president said, it's not be possible for everyone to get 100%. But I would like to say that after a very fervent prayer at SEC today, I'm very convinced that 100% of the 45,000 students can get 100%. Our appreciation also goes to the Chancellor of the University, His Majesty Otumfuo Osei II, for his timely intervention and his fast help in helping the resumption of academic life. Thanks to him, we came back to school faster than many people expected, and academic life is moving on smoothly. We also say a lot of thanks to the government, the regional minister, the Minister of Education, the RECSEC, and ultimately the President of the Republic for their intervention during the impasse and their support towards the academic development and resumption of university life. We say a big thank you to parents as well for the patience they offered us during this time. Most parents had to foot the bill for their wards to travel all the way from where they stay because of the impasse, as we were all instructed to move, especially international students, many of whom had to fly back to their countries, although some remained. We say a big thank you to the parents for their patience. To the SRC Parliament, I say thank you very much for your support. Those were very difficult times, with 50-50 thoughts in mind and not knowing which one to implement, with voices coming from all sectors and not knowing which one to listen to. We're all very frustrated, confused, and worried. But with the fear of God and with your support and with our togetherness, we're able to get to this point. I would like to also thank all the SRC executives, for together we're able to stand firm. Just as the saying goes that if you want to achieve something very tremendous, your effort alone counts. But the effort of many more others joined is rather an assurance of you achieving it more. Finally, I would like to thank all students of KNUST for their support, for their patience, and for their time. This was a very difficult time for them, and we appreciate their efforts. Once again, I would like to apologize to every single person, from members of management, to lecturers, to students, to Ghanaians, and everyone who was affected one way or the other. It's quite unfortunate we even had visitors who were coming in from Arizona State University. The incident happened and so they could not come to campus. That sent a very bad signal out there about us. And so the onus lies on you and I to put together our efforts and fight to redeem the image of KNUST, which went down during the impasse. And I must state that it's not possible for one man alone to do so, but all of us must do it together. After resuming school, executives from Unity Hall and University Hall met the Vice-Chancellor for reconciliatory talks to present an award and also some souvenirs to the Vice-Chancellor. Unfortunately, there was some media twist about the meeting purported to having been with respect to the conversion of the mixed halls. Now, I would like to state on record that that's a decision that was made by Council, and only Council has the power to revert and review the decision. And so until further notice, the status quo is as it is, and we'll keep students informed as and when any changes come by. A lot of lessons have been learned from this impasse about how our student front must never be divided. It was quite unfortunate at certain times where various fractions of the student leadership was getting divided. Some say due to parochial interests, some say due to political infiltration, and a whole lot. But the bottom line is, there is a structure of the SRC, the judicial, the SRC Parliamentary Council, and the executive body. There is a national arm of Students' Union, which is the National Union of Ghana Students. And there is an extension of that arm, which is the local KNUST Secretariat on campus. The official mouthpiece of the students on campus is the KNUST SRC. and we get all our information and grievances through this August House, which is the Parliamentary Council. The local NUST serves as a body or as a liaison between the National Secretariat and students here. However, I would like to state that it is very saddening how on the national front, where we expect the National Union of Ghana students to be playing the lead advocate role for all students, we rather find it in a very porous state of being infiltrated by political machination, which we do not support on any day. This has led to consideration for many angles for the withdrawal of KNUST from the national NUST if we feel it is going to be divided and on a political basis. We have to state on record that for any issues that concern student leadership, it must be apolitical. The moment political machination sets in, then we are sure where we are heading towards, which is not the way to go. There were so many issues that came up during this impasse with respect to the national NUST, with respect to the local NUST, where the SRC was found stating where the student front would like to head, and the local NUST secretariat saying otherwise. I would like to state that under no circumstance should we condone such acts which are purported to divide the student front, and any of such acts should be treated with disdain and never supported. This is a thing of the past, and we should put in measures to ensure it never recurs in the near future. Because we ask ourselves, if the two voices were being listened to, what would have been our stance tonight as we are here? Probably would have still been at home, battling for a date to resume school. And so on this day, I put before Parliament to set up a committee to look into the issues of the local NUST Secretariat and National NUST Secretariat. If we do not see any change, we probably might have to join our brothers from the University of Ghana who have withdrawn, and University of Cape Coast who are also making plans to withdraw. Because we have a common platform and we have discussed how we feel if the national body, which is supposed to support us, is having fights amongst itself because of political reasons, then under no circumstance can we align ourselves to that, because we have been elected and we have taken an oath of office to fight for the interests of the general student populace of KNUST. And so if any political interest will set in to undermine that, then we cannot support that under any circumstance. I would like to speak on documentation. Moving forward, we will have to ensure that our documentation is well enhanced. There were so many times where there were issues students were faced with from various colleges, halls, the SRC. And we can all see that we felt guilty to this. In times where we had grievances, we always resorted to oral means of complaining. We sometimes visit the dean of students to make a complaint. On a committee, we make a complaint. But then we have to be aware of the fact that position papers and documentations are very important for such matters. If students under any circumstance or student leaders under any circumstance are not happy with a policy or any issue the university is bringing up, it is our duty to ensure that we document it and submit it so that we have records of such incidents, rather than resort to just oral complaints which probably might not have any response from management, and it might be translated and interpreted as the university turning a blind eye to our issues. So moving forward, we are making plans to set up a comprehensive database system of student leadership. We are setting up a committee to ensure that we do a detailed research from previous SRC presidents to gather information on how issues were being tackled, how their suggestions are going to help us, and how we document the various problems and how we solve them. This, we believe, will go a long way to exist for many years to come and will serve as a guideline for the coming executives to be able to use to follow to solve problems, so that we don't have the recurrence of student leaders battling on the job to learn how to solve and tackle issues of gross importance. We will also push for the autonomy of student leaders, especially parliamentarians. In circumstances where our budgets are all passed by our senates, that should be the end. There definitely is going to be the stage where our budgets will be reviewed by the Office of the Dean of Students to ensure that we are guided, but not to say we are going to be directed as to whether we can proceed with what we have decided in our parliament or not. If that is the case, what it means is that the autonomy of students and the respect of the parliamentary council is being taken away. And so that is one issue we are promising to fight and ensure works. Many asked why the reconciliation process was necessitated right after the incidents on 22nd October. I would like to state that, first and foremost, the main issues were what we stated. And after having met management, the management was willing to resolve our matters. What it meant was that our cries were supposed to be over. Our primary interest was to protect the students of KNUST, and secondly, to ensure peace and harmony for everyone, ensure academic life resumes as soon as possible, and ultimately to protect the name, the brand, and image of KNUST. Let us always bear in mind that if we destroy the image of KNUST, it means we are destroying the name of the certificate we are going to carry away. This is a certificate that is going to be a foundation for any other certificate we might hold in our lifetime. Whether you have a master's program or a doctorate program, it's all going to be on the foundation of your first degree, which is in KNUST. So let us always remember that regardless of the circumstances we're facing, let us always try as much as possible to resolve them amongst ourselves, rather than run to media, run outside trying to solve the problem, whereas the problem hangs. And a word to the activists, I think this time around we are seeing a lot of improvements, and I would like to commend them. When issues are arising and activists notice them, initially they used to always just write to complain and it ended there. Sometimes we never even saw them. Parliamentarians, SRC, who are the people on the platforms to be able to push for these issues to be tackled. If we never see such issues, and their issues are always flying on social media, then the question is the interest to get the problem solved or to make it seem as though we're activists? And so we would like to urge all activists to continue the good work of getting whatever issues they recognize to us as parliamentarians and then the student leaders, so that we can use the platforms that we have to voice out these challenges and get them addressed. That is the way to go, and I believe it's going to go a long way to ensure that students' livelihood is well enhanced. It was quite saddening how allegations were coming on our personalities, especially myself, where people had purported, because I had resorted to a reconciliatory process with management, I had been bribed 50,000 Ghana cedis. And I would like to state on record that if our integrity is being smeared because we are taking the path which is right for the student's interest, then it's quite sad. Because we were put out here, we were sworn into office, we have pledged allegiance, we are moving by the Constitution, and are representing the voices of the 50,000 students of KNUST to bring peace and harmony and to bring positive results for everyone. And so whatever decision we might take, we must take at every point in time, with the effective consultation of this August House, the SRC Executive and the Judicial. If we go out there to implement such decisions, we entreat all students to respect them and support them, because in difficult times, it's the support of students that we need, not insults, not negative sayings, because this will not support us. They will only break us. But then I would like to state that I believe firmly that we all seated here are very strong-willed, and regardless of the criticism, we'll keep fighting for the students' interest. Moving on to updates from the university management. At our just ended periodic meeting, it was made known to us that there will be an extension of Wi-Fi routers at the various halls, and the Dean of Students spoke on that. Additional provision of chairs will also be made at Councillor Hayford lecture halls to supplement the existing ones, which are not currently enough for the population of students who study there. Plans are also being made to procure air conditioners for the various large lecture theatres, so that students can be able to have a comfortable environment during lecture times. Public address systems are also being made. Our plans are also being made for public address systems to be installed. Projectors as well are being made for large halls, and the plan is to have one major projector in front and one in the middle, so that students who are seated far behind in large lecture rooms can be able to also follow and concentrate. Plans are being made to build more canteen facilities, and I'm sure we've all recognized the SMS Bush Canteen, which has been refurbished and will be commissioned very soon. Plans are also being made to have a canteen facility between SRC and Unity Hall, which will be named as the Las Palmas. Activities during the semester. As an SRC which believes very much in continuity, we continued the very much anticipated Tech Talk event, and we're very much privileged to host former President Jerry John Rawlings, together with Honorable Benjamin Kumbo and Anaba Anamwa. Inspiring moments we had with them. They spoke to students, inspired students, and students were very much pleased to have them. Plans will also will continue to be made for next semester to bring more inspiring personalities to student front to give us more inspiration about what lies ahead of us, so that we can be made people who are ambassadors for our countries to support in every sector. The Tracted Committee of SRC also organized a Goods Markets program, which was an entrepreneurial program and sought to bring a lot of student entrepreneurs together under one umbrella to showcase their goods, their skills and entrepreneurial mindset. This was wholeheartedly supported by the SRC and the Parliamentary Council. Under health, NHIS registration was conducted for students at a very subsidized rate at various vantage points on campus and even as far as Confanoche. Live band performances were introduced during the semester as a form of entertainment. We'll be pleased to also make mention of that. Come next week, we'll have one more live band to usher us into the Christmas mood. We'd like to currently state that the free SRC language classes is still ongoing, as this afternoon they even had their lecture in Chinese and French. The project will also be seen to continue next year, and it is our hope that after Parliament will pass the bill on the continuity and especially the 10-year development plan, such projects will be captured such that after our administration even hands over, coming administrations will still be taxed to continue such projects. So if there's a first year who started a language class in first year, by the time the person gets to final year, the person can actually be very, very fluent and can add that language to the person's skill, which can take the person very far and make the person stand out amongst our peers in the universities. The Skills Fair is also ongoing. The Skills Fair is a program which seeks to add an extra skill to students aside the language. Various courses are being treated, ranging from IT to videography to computer hardware to sobolo making, beads making, yogurt making, and a host of skills for students to learn. The program will be continued next semester as well. I assented a bill from Parliament which was 25% affirmative action on all SRC executives. And this is to support women and empower them and to give them the enthusiasm to come into the leadership sector of the KNUST-TEK SRC governance. This bill went down very well and was supported by the general populace of KNUST. We are looking forward to more ladies to avail themselves to pick up such leadership roles to serve students' interest. We want to urge the House to also ensure that communication exists between their constituents very frequently. From times where we are updated from the Office of the Dean of Students, from management, or the SRC, we should do well to relay all information to students down to the class rep level. Students from the Debate Society are currently on a trip in Tanzania representing KNUST in the Pan-African University Debate Championship. And it's our hope that they will do us the honors of returning with a trophy and a lot of medals. Come next Friday, the SRC will be in partnership with the International Youth Fellowship to have a carol service to help us celebrate the birth of Christ for this December. We would like to also congratulate the University Hall for winning the Hall of the Year. and to also appreciate a student who is a third year computer science and an SRC executive as well, is in the person of Kweku Ohemen. He won the award of the Outstanding Graphic Designer at the National Tertiary Awards. These are students who have taken the name of the institution high, and it's our duty to support them as they keep pushing our name high. General advice to students. At such point, it's very important for us to continue to remember KNUST in prayers, because we believe very much that in such a difficult time, it was not by our own doing, but by the will of God that we are able to pass through this turbulent situation and to arrive at such a point where there is a normal academic life and reconciliation between student leaders, general students, and university management. But I would like to state that at this point, the onus lies on us to be responsible in our actions and inactions, to raise high the name of KNUST. Let us keep behind our minds that if we decide to stay silent, the image of KNUST will stay where it is. If we decide to push it down, the image of KNUST will run down, and our degrees will run down with it. But if we decide to commit ourselves, task by task, action by action, word by word, putting ourselves together, moving with one accord, we are going to be able to get KNUST back to where it was, and even beyond places where people ever expected it to go. I'm very much confident that at this point, with our enthusiasm, KNUST will remain the premier university of science and technology in the sub-region. On issues of security which were raised by some parliamentarians, I'd like to state that the off-campus security survey has been completed. Recommendations were brought and a report has been made by the SRC Safety and Security, and the watchdog will come from next semester. Logistics are being set up, and this will ensure that security off campus is beefed up. We also entreat all parliamentarians to get down to their constituents that security is not only an affair of the SRC, of the university, but the prime ultimate responsibility lies on every single student to ensure that they take care of their own belongings and secure their environment. So let us keep speaking to our constituents to ensure that they make sure that they are not swindled by people easily. Issues about transportation also came up, and we have pushed that up. We will continue to follow up on that to ensure that students off campus from Brady and Agreg Junction and all those who are suffering will also have their issues resolved. Issues of street lights off campus also came up, and we would like to state emphatically that this is an issue we are going to continue pursuing till we see results. Effective communication once again. We would like to state that currently, as this state of SRC address is going on, PA systems are set up in the halls and in some vantage points off campus for students to be able to listen to what the SRC has in stock for them. We urge that this continues. At every point in time when we have our sittings, let us set up a channel of communication right from the SRC down to the various students. On issues of the emergency ambulance, which will be set to roll very soon, we entreat all students not to abuse the emergency lines, because these lines are meant for emergency situations, and if students abuse them, who knows? In times when there might be very, very critical situations, they might not be attended to because of the way they were used and addressed. So let us get it down to our people as well, the importance of us to treat this with the seriousness it deserves. Finally, I would like to state that we've come a very, very long way. We've gone through a lot. A lot has been said about us. KNUST for a long time has never been in media. KNUST for a long time has never been spoken about badly. KNUST for a long time has never been the talk of the average Ghanaian. This is the time for us to correct the wrongs. Many say it was a wrong move for us to do that. Many say it was the best move for us to move out. But I would like to state that regardless of what your view is, this is the point where we have to all put our arsenals together. This is the point where we have to put our efforts together. This is the point where we have to join forces. Just as management moving forward has decided to join forces with students to ensure that we tackled all the challenges that students are facing. KNUST-TEK, the hub and the premier institution of science and technology in the nation, must redeem its image. Let us start from today. Let us start from now. Let us build back the image we deserve. And moving forward, a time will come where we can say to our peers and to our children that it was during our time that we caused reforms to be happening in KNUST-TEK. This is the time for us to leave a legacy. This is the time for us to cause a change in society. But let us know that it all starts from KNUST-TEK, from the land where we belong, the land where we're trained. Thank you very much, and God bless us all.